Hi all, it's Kylie, back for another lesson or class in our beginner friendly journal series. So this week, 3 pages. We will be working on, when I can find them, we'll be working on the first of our tags. So lovely little tag with fabric and buttons and bits and bobs. So we've got that one. We've got, let's find the next one. We're going to be doing one of our clusters. So, and I move the little piece of paper that I've got in there. So the back of our envelope. Okay, remember we've got our old vintage envelope in there, ready to do. It's been sewn into our signatures, so we've got a cluster on one of those. And last but not least, we're going to be playing back again with our little matchbook that we made in the first lesson. So there's that one, that's been finished off, and we've now got our page and our pocket ready to go in. So all of those will be done in today's class. Hope you'll come along and join me for those, and I hope you learn something as well. Okay, so remember we had the vintage envelope, which was this one. I love this because it had the watermarks in it, and it had this beautiful, beautiful blue script inside it. Bit dodgy along here, so if I bring that up you'll see where the original adhesive for it was, and it's just a little bit brown, so we're going to cover that. But as I said before, on the fronts of these, when I sew them into signatures, I like to do a cluster that comes out. So that's what we're going to do right now. I've just turned the camera on. I've gone ahead and done a little bit of it to save some time. So I've grabbed just some plain cream cardstock. I've got a little stamp, probably, I reckon it's a Temu stamp, that's just some ads, I think they are. It's just one of those nothing stamps that's just good as a background. I've stamped that on my cardstock. I've then grabbed a die, one of my favourite little label dies, nesting dies, and pop some washi tape on there to make sure I've got it in just the right spot. And I've run that through my die cutting machine already. So there's this. And I'm going to adhere this onto this. So it's done in a cream, so it's fairly close to the envelope. I'm just going to lightly touch up around the sides, just so that it stands out a little bit better on both the brown paper bag behind it and the cream of the envelope. So just lightly. I don't want to go too far in. We're just going onto that. So I want this to sit round about there. But what I have grabbed is a couple of pieces of vintage lace as well. So I've got this beautiful one. I love this. What I want is a little bit of this behind here. Instead of my cheesecloth that I normally use, I just want a little bit of this lace to sit in here as well. So at this stage I'm just going to chop it straight up there. Chop it a little bit larger. I can always trim it off further, but it gives me options then as I'm going. So at the moment you can see it's a little bit larger than that. I don't mind that sitting out. If I just stretch this out to make it look a little bit more loved, I suppose would be the word that I'm looking for. So it can sit in here like so. That gives it a wobble, some texture, things like that. Or if I want, I can just slightly gather that up so that it doesn't come in, and I actually think I like that a little bit better. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, to do that, I'm going to run my double-sided tape. You know I always use my double-sided tape when I'm playing with laces onto things, and I'm just going to run it from here to there with this one. Trim off that top section, cut around that. Right, I've got that. Peel that one off, making sure I'm the right way again. Right, so it needs to go that way. I'm going to start it up there, and I'm just going to lightly gather it. So I'll work out where it needs to go down here. So I'm not using my sewing machine or anything else. I'm just bunching as I go. And because it's the double-sided tape, it'll hold all that down. Makes it so much easier. And yeah, I like that. So that's my catch cry really, isn't it? I like that. Okay, happy with that. I'm going to run it along that, my pencil line. Down there. Just putting lots and lots of dots on it to really get it in. I can always lift up the other side and pop some more in if I need to. May also need some new glasses. That's going to go in here like so. I can see where that's going to go. I'm just going to sit it on, and then I can turn it over and make sure it's all nice and straight. Yep. Give it a good push. Push that down like that. Okay. I like that, but I don't want to just finish that. So I've grabbed a few things out of my, you know, my little jar that I had all my bits and pieces cut out of. Just going to run those around and we'll give it a cluster onto our label. And that way it's got quite a few bits and pieces going on with it. I'm going to sit that in there. I plan to sit that one up here. I never know whether to put clocks the right way up or just have them hanging. So I just want that sort of thing sitting there, and I'm happy with how that sits. So while I've got this glue sitting out, and I know it was working, you saw that it was working. I haven't gone away. I haven't turned off the video and come back or anything like that. So we know it was working. Right. Is that one? It's somewhere in the centre. Like so. My little clock. Now these are all just the little bits that I've cut out from that original paper pack. Remember the little 6.5 inch paper pad? I really need my tweezers for that, otherwise I'm going to get so much glue all over me. Where's the 12? There. No. 1, 2, 3. There, like that. Let's go that way. Sitting that one there. And I've got a little butterfly. He probably needs to take that white edge off as well. Right. Just in here. Be careful when you're doing their little legs and all the rest. Under that. Pop that glue on. And we can pop our lace on the other side. A little bit on his leg. Alright. There's such an easy way to do just a little cluster or something going on and utilising the backs of our envelopes. I love doing these. I love putting envelopes in my signatures where it's just the back flap folded over. And on this side, I'm just going to wipe that before I go any further. Otherwise I'll have glue everywhere. And on this side, I want this one. Again, it's just an old vintage lace that I've got floating around. Because let's face it, I have lots of it. And this one's going to sit down in here like so. I could mitre that, shouldn't I? That one needs to chop off. I think it's like that. Let's have a look. Nothing like measuring and checking. Oh, pretty good. Pretty good, because then when I turn it over, I'll have just a little bit of it sticking out. That was my plan. I don't want to cover that blue. I love that blue, so I really don't want to cover that blue. Right. That's our first little bit. Let's sit you right down there, right into that section and just up on that. Have a look on that side. like so. And then on this side, once again, when I find my up and down, that bit, so this one will come up here and go to there. I want that that way, kind of like a mitre, kind of not. My husband would have a, oh, I've cut that the wrong way anyway. My husband would have a pink fit at how I've mitered that. Let's go that way, like that. That's what we want, like that, and down there. Yep, right, let's do that one. Oh, down here. We might find a word or something to go in that bit. What do you reckon? I just want to make sure I gather all of that where it joins. Going down there. Start with this one. Right, I got that. Pretty good. Alright, just, yeah, so that on that, don't you love it when a plan comes together? So on that side, I'm just seeing a little bit of lace, top and bottom, and on that side, all it's doing is covering where that adhesive was still sitting. Looked rather old, that's fine, but it still had a little bit of glue attached to it. So in here, I'm thinking we just want some words. So let's have a look at, right, so I've got a pile here that are just words. Words that I've either cut out or word stickers. So these ones are my Grabby ones. I think I got these ones from Grabby. Let's have a look. I don't want the black because it's going to stand out too much. That green, what have I got in there? No, no, no. All right, let's have a look at these ones because I can colour these to the colour I want, and I only want, oh, and I only want something small. So that's the same. I like break the mould. Escape the ordinary. Enjoy little moments. That one's the same. And in here we had always be yourself. Now I could cut that. So hang on a moment. I like these because they were more of a matte finish, and I can colour them to any thickness, any shade that I want. And I'm going to just remember to get that so that I can really tone that into it. We'll pull that one up. I'm just going to get rid of the white edge on that. You can see that it had a white edge because they're a little bit thick. I don't know, about 1 mil thick. They do stand up a little bit. And I want always be yourself. I'm going to cut that down there. Hopefully straight. I need to do that bit. I need to do that bit. And just to make sure that they will stick. I'm always concerned with with word stickers. I just want always be yourself. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on it. Doesn't need much because it's got quite a bit of adhesive on there. But and be yourself goes that way. Don't put them upside down. Do look at them. All right. So I told you I would at some stage turn up during the week and start filming whenever I picked it up. And I've done just that today. I'm very proud of myself. Just want to make sure that they're stuck on. How easy was that? How easy is that for one of these flaps? I love doing these. We'll get on to one of the others. Okay, so our next page, and as I said before, I don't do things in sequence. We've jumped all the way back to the start again. Sorry if that annoys you intensely, but it's just the way I work. And this time we've got one of these ones that we've folded over like this to make a pocket. So it's the back of that Japanese writing paper. I don't want to touch that side. I love the look and the feel of all that one. This side, all I really want to do is pop a tag or a journal card or something like that onto it. So I've got a few ideas for that. We're going back to all our bits and pieces from our original paper pad. And what I've pulled out is an offcut of this one. And what I'm going to do to start with this one is just use my edge distresser. Now, this is distressing, back in the old days, distressing before the inks came out that were called distress inks. And it's just a small blade. You can get Tim Holtz ones, you can get other sorts of brands, Uniquely Creative, etc. It's just a little blade that sits in here. This one's ancient. And it just runs down your paper to give that, can you see the fuzzy edge? Okay, that's what I'm after. I want a lovely fuzzy edge. If you don't have a little distresser, they're not that much to buy. But if you don't, you can use your scissors like that. Don't cut yourself, hold them apart, wipe it down. I have a tendency with my scissors to cut in. My scissors are sharp. If you don't got a pair that are not too sharp, would probably be better. Mine are sharp, and probably because I'm so used to using these. So if ever I'm in a class and I've got to show someone how to do them with the scissors, I invariably cut right into my paper. Now I don't want too much up on that side, so I want a little bit over here, and I'll show you why shortly. So that's that one. Just want right up the top here, like that. And we're just gonna, I'm just gonna silence my phone before I forget. Right, get rid of all that dust. But I still want to ink around it. But when I'm inking this time, what I'm doing is scratching that across that roughed up edge so that it really, can you see how it's looking very well worn now? If I hold it like that, you'll see that it's very well worn. Right, so that's about what I want. I want a tab up here, so I don't necessarily need it too rough up here or rough at all. And I'll work out if I need that little edge. I've cut out a couple of tabs. Now, my whale tail one that we used before is that size. And I looked at it for what I want to do. I always have a template one sitting here. And it's a little bit too much down onto there for me. So I've gone and cut out a couple of others that I had as dies. From memory, they could be Uniquely Creative, I think. But they cut them out like this, ready to just fold over. And if you're careful, you'll fold them over straight, not like I've just done. So I've got that one, and I've got a rather flat one. But I cut them both out so that I can see exactly which way I want to go. So this one, because it's the same greens in here, which is why I've used that paper from this pad. So, and I don't have to go too far down because I don't want to take too much in here. I want some fabric going on behind there. So I've got that one, or I've got that one. Either or, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, really, isn't it? Don't want that blue. It's got a blue piece on that side, so I'm just putting that round that way. But what I want to do is I've got strips of this linen. As I've said before, I've got strips of it. And you can tell I don't tear straight. It must have been the edge piece. So I just want a piece that's about that thick. Let's have a look. But I want it just above. Let's just cut that. Let's just cut that. Woo. There on this side. Alright. Oh, so there's that bit. Take off those frayed edges. I'm happy with all the frayed edges. And I want this, I want it to come out and over past my tag. Right. Nice and dodgy, I suppose would be the best word for it. Now we can stamp this if we want, but I'm not going to see a great deal of it. What I'm going to do, get rid of some of these, is I want some book page behind it. Now, I just want some plain paper behind it to give it a little bit more firmness, make it a little bit larger, and give a nice writing area on the back to jot notes on. What I do have is I've got a little envelope with plain sheets from books. So when I gut a book or I'm tearing a book apart or whatever else, if there's plain sheets, I pop them in this envelope. I'd like to say I pop them in this envelope. I have an envelope and I have a really big container back there of them. And so in here, they might be plain on both sides. They might be just plain on one side. But the papers are beautiful. They stamp just gorgeously. Gorgeously? Is that a word? It is now. And I get all these different colour tonings. So that's a plain one. I want to pop it on this side. So yes, see how the edges will show up around there? I just want to use that edge. I want this to sit on here like so. I'm actually thinking of taking it so that I've got that rough edge at the top where it's been torn out, so that that's at the top as well, and maybe I'll put my tab on that bit, in which case I'm going to rough that. See, I'm just a work in progress as I go. I might have something in my head, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's where I stay. So just make sure I re-ink that bit, because I've just rethought this. So if I pop that on there, going down there, I'm more than happy that there's a little tear in that down there, which gives this taller edge. Slice that down there. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. So I'm just going to sit it on here. And because it's by the look of the colour and all the rest, it is a vintage book, which means that it's not necessarily going to be straight. So if you look, if I've put that on the line here, see, I don't know if you can from there, see how it's not necessarily straight? It goes off the line. I'm not concerned. If I trim it, I'll lose some of this and I lose some of that authenticity, I suppose. So I'm going to match that bit up. I'm going to put that round about there, and I'm going to just trim this up here. So I'm just going to put a little pencil mark about there and back up there, so it's got about that same border all the way through it, and I'm just going to chop that off. Trimmer, blade, scissors, whichever floats your boat. Right, that one will go back in that envelope. So that's that one. That one's going to sit on here like that, yes. So you have a look, when I pop this in here, so it gives that deeper edge, it does all that, and I'm going to have my tab up on that. So we're just going to audition these at the moment, so that can sit right up there like that. I like that. That one works well. This one doesn't show up as far, but it still gives it. I could nearly go to the centre, couldn't I? Where's my little piece that I tore off? Right there. Right there. I want that side. Can go up a little bit, can go off. Let's have a look with that one under it. See, I'm liking that. That's really nice. That's a... Just get something else going on. I'm going to put something in here, I'm thinking, and I like that. So I need to ink. We're going to use that one. I'm going to ink around that just so that it'll stand out. Might need a bit more ink on my blender. What are we going to put on that tab? Let's have a think. So just needs it on one side, I think. Oh, I do have some. The other thing I always do with my books when I'm finished with them, when I'm gutting them, whatever else, and I've got a pile of them here from where I was working on them the other day, is I always tear out my chapter bits and pieces, and I quite often punch out my page numbers, things like that. Not every book piece, but I quite often go through so that these then work. One works on there, and I reckon, yeah, if I trim that there, that will work on there as well. And look, there's such a cheap way to get all your bits and pieces because they're off the books that you're already using. Right, so I'm thinking this one can be adhered on. I'm just going to use a glue stick for that. Move that one. Grab my glue pen. We're using that one, we've decided. Right. Let's have a look. Down there. Making sure that's up the right way because it's got a few little words in there that I just need to make sure are the right way round. Sticking that down. Right. So that's that. He's on. I'm wanting that off the page a little bit and onto that. That one's going to be adhered up there. I might even go that way. So I've got a layer, and a layer. What's that look like? Sorry, that's my thinking music. Maybe I'll go like that. I'm just thinking. Maybe I like it more like that. So I've got that torn edge. I've got that. I go down to that, up. You know me, I like my layers. All right. I'm thinking that one might go there. I'm just going to pop a little bit of double-sided tape under that bit to hold that down while I'm gluing the rest. So it's going to go just there. Flicking that up, going up to about there, wasn't it? That was in. Ah, look at that. Right, that was in there. That was on that. Just like that. Yep, I'm liking that. Right, I can put a little bit more double-sided tape under that bit. Just there like that. Peel that bit off without taking the rest of that book page. Right, bit of glue on this one. So if we go there, so what I'm going to do is glue just down here so that I can line that up for where I actually want it, and then I can turn it over and glue the rest on. So we'll just go down here. Sorry, I could just hear the dog behind me. I just wondered what he was getting into. All right. Make sure I've got the right side because I didn't want that blue edge or the blue dot. It was a dot, wasn't it? Look, we've got lovely weather today. The glue is running beautifully. That's because last night I raced out and bought another heater because the other one just wasn't warming up properly and it cost an earth to run, and it was as noisy as you all heard it the other week. So I've gone and got another one. Yeah, I'm liking that, and I'm liking that on that side too. And so that's my journaling side. We're going to pop all our glue on this bit now, and then we can fix up our 3. It's just another way to do tag, to give it some texture, to give it a little bit of a different look. Using up the bits that you've got floating around still, a little bit of fabric here, our book page bits, and look, you can't go past having punches or dies in the tabs. They're just invaluable, really they are. So I want to trim this one down so that it's only just that size now, don't I? If I just sit that there. Round about even. Looks pretty even. Okay, there's that one. and at the top. So you'll notice when I cut it out with that border on there anyway, because at that stage I never know what I'm going to do with it. I might need it larger, I might need it smaller. So this time I'm actually going to align on my grid so that I can make sure I've got it nice and straight, because there's not as many letters up the top. There we go. So we reckon that was going to fit, didn't we? Yeah, look at that. I like that. Just roughly on the edge. Straight in there. We will glue that down. Oh, don't you love it when a glue works? Oh my word. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Tweezers, I think, to pick that up. Do I want it in the centre? Do I want it over to the side? I want it over to the side. This is me. If I put it in the centre, then it needs to look as though it should have been in the centre. And then if it's off centre slightly, it stands out. If I put it to the side, it looks like it could have just been anywhere. That's my reasoning. That's what I stick with. So I never try and line anything up. I never try and go dead centre, because if they're slightly out, you'll always look at it. I'm happy with that. How do we reckon? Okay, so now I just want a little few things going on down here, and we'll have a look at it in this. And it matches this beautifully. This sits in here like that. Happy with that. And look, just bits and bobs. We had a little bit of this left over, bit of book page, bit of scrap fabric. You know, they're not that hard to play around with and do. So what are we going to put down here? Do we want to give it some more texture? No. No, I don't. No, I don't. Do I want, because I'm using that newspaper all the way through. I know, you're all sick to death of me using this newspaper, aren't you? Melbourne Wool Report. It's not going to give us much, but it's going to give me enough to sit in here. And I'm just going to tear around this so that it goes between all my down and around that, like so. So let's have a look. If that's in there, I can take out a little bit more of that. And I want a little bit over there. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking out loud. Down there. Doesn't need much. I like those. Right, let's just have a look and glue those down. I'm not inking them. I want them to blend in with the paper. So all I'm doing, as though they were stamped on there, down there. It's my cloth. And that one. My glue stick's nice and gluey. That one was up in there, wasn't it? Like so. And what I'm thinking, I might actually put a button or something up here. I've got some vintage buttons. Buttons are really nice just to finish things off. This is just my little container of vintage buttons that just, piles of them over there, but these ones just sit on my desk or at the top of my desk. That's nice. And I like that with all the bits in it coming out. So let's see if you're too big. No, but I like the colour in that. I like the colour in that because it brings all that up. Let's have a look and see what we can do with that. Might need some of this taking off. But do I want to go that way? I'm liking that. But I'm actually liking that a little bit better. Now that I've done that, I like all that hanging out of there. Let's just stick him on, and I'm going to use my fabric glue because it allows it to go up and into the button, and it hangs on a little bit better. Where did we decide we were going? Just there? Look at that, it's coming out straight away. Oh! Pull that back out of the book, Kylie. It might make it a little bit easier. So if it's, because it's at the top, it'll still allow writing back here, whereas if I put it further down here, it makes it very hard for somebody who wants to journal in this. As this is not a for me book, it will be sold and for somebody to either look at or to actually journal in, which is why I always do so many journal pages, straight journal pages in my journals, so that it can be used for everything. Now that I'm going to glue down while we're here, and then I've just got to find something over that. You may be along for that one, or it's a really good thing that I did silence my phone at the start. It has been going a little bit troppo, which is why I keep getting sidetracked. Sorry. Oh, it is like, I don't know, 20 to 4 on a Friday afternoon. I ran away from work a little bit early because it was such a nice day. So maybe that's why it's going a little bit troppo, because it should still be at work. But, you know, I'll get back to everybody. It was too nice a day to stay at work. It really was. So much nicer to be sitting here in my studio in the sun. It's just lovely. Right. So that's that. That's that. That's that one done. I'll play around with that. Hope you like that one. We'll come back and we'll do another one. Okay, so third one for today. I want to use our little matchbook ones that we made way back when we were using our 6x6 pad. So yes, this still needs something on here, but if I tuck them into a normal pocket, I lose all this delicate detail that's going on down here. So what I like to do with my matchbook ones, I found a piece of scrap. We're still using our scraps, and I've got a piece of acetate packaging, you know, just your acrylic flicky thing. It's off a piece of packaging. What we're going to do is make a pocket down here that is see-through, so that we can then tuck this in. And these are so easy to do. They are just, yeah, so easy. So what I'm going to do is work out how big I want this. I'm not worried about that because it's not going to have the top on it anyway. So I want a piece that will fit in here nicely. So about 3/4 of an inch for this page. All the pages are different sizes, remember. So I'm just going to chop that at about 3/4 of an inch. 1, 2, 3. Like so. And what we're going to do is cut down here, along here, and down there, so that it just becomes a frame. Now, if you've got dies that you can run through a die cutting machine, make your frames that way. Get 2 squares nesting together and cut them out that way. So much easier. If you want to, by all means, measure and rule and cut around it. You can do it with scissors, you can do it with your knife, anything like that. You know me, I'm going to do it with my knife. So I will eyeball mine because that's what I do. So if I sit that there, even though this one is now a centimetre one and the original measurements were inches, I'm going to take this to, I don't want, we've gone to the other side so that I can mark and measure. I don't want too big a frame, okay? So, because I don't want to lose any of this. So what I'm going to do is round about 1.5 centimetres, and I will just do this with my knife if I don't cut my finger off in the meantime. So round about 1.5 centimetres, it's going to start up there, and I'm going to go all the way to the end. Okay, just like that. Going to do the same on the other side, making sure that I've kept that straight now, like so, because that was the whole point of it. So about 1.5 centimetres, about there, which will take it to about there. I'll just take it slowly down there so I can see whereabouts I'm finishing, and I'm going to do the same down this side and join those two up together. So about there to about there. See where that is? Yep, beautiful. That's there to about there. Just watch with when you're, see how I finished just a little bit before, because otherwise if I go past, then I've got that mark. So I tend to stop just a little bit before. There we go. There's our frame. Simple as that. Now I'm going to trim these bits off so that they're even as well. So let me just pop these in here like that. Let's see where I've got a line that they're both going to come to. Don't even know if I want it that high. Don't need it that high. I'm going to take this back to about that height. I can always trim more off later. Now these are only little ones, so just be careful if you're using a knife that it doesn't want to slide on you. And look, like that. I'm going to use my scissors for that actually, now that I've got the mark there. So much easier. Like so. So that will be the size of my pocket. This can go in, and I may still take a little bit more off there, but I can get this measured up now. So I've got a nice, well, a fairly straight line going on up there. And I'm just going to stick this down like so. And then I'm just going to trim around with my knife. I find it so much easier, especially when they're this thick. The guillotines don't like them that much. Your knife will quite often slide and slip on them. So we're just going to adhere this down, and I'm going to use my double-sided tape. Before I do that, I just want to go in there and get rid of that white edge. So just straight in there, because I can't do it once that is adhered down to the acetate. Right, like so. I can do my other edge later, that's fine. I'm going to pop double-sided tape on all of that. I'll move that first. And I'm just going to go round about into the centre of it. Because this is a 6mm double-sided tape, or 1/4 inch. Round about, you know, just whatever. But I find double-sided tape works the best when I'm adhering down acetate. And I can't see it because the frame is over it anyway, so I can't see glue, because I have a real thing about looking at glue on acetate. This way it'll cover it, and it'll cover once it's on the page. Chop that bit off, about there, beautiful. Peel all those ones back off. Find a fingernail that'll work, like so. Don't rip your frame while you're doing all this. Right, now we're going to sit this down. I'm going to go that way actually, so that I can hold that. And I'm going to pop one side. This is a bit rippled where I've gone close, when I'm cutting it, where I've gone close to where the folded edge was. So I'm going back a little bit with that. I'm just going to sit that one in, pop that on, like so. There we go, easy as that. Now I can use my scissors, follow down my frame This just makes it the easiest way to do it. May need my big scissors for this bit. We'll see how we go. I find the bigger the scissors, the better I get these sorts of ones. But we may be in luck. Look at that. Beautiful. Just need to go up there. Again, we've just used a piece of our scrap that we still had sitting there. It's given us this border. This can then sit in there like that. And this one will go in. But I can still see it. Now, because these are big, a little bit chunky, when we're going to adhere this on, again, with double-sided tape, I'm just going to squeeze it forward a little bit so that I've got a bit of a gap there to pop this in. But I'm also going to pop a thumb notch in there. So what I want is a fairly large one that I know will work through this acetate. So I'm hoping I'm going to say my EK Success. It's the same as those ones. It's a Stampin' Up version. So we'll go even Stevens either side, and we'll take it down to about that. Let's see if it actually does it like that. Beautiful. Lost a bit of my hand. So now I've got that. I want to decorate this up a little bit though, because I like that, don't get me wrong, I like that. And it'll just sit in there. I can still see all of that, and I'm happy with that. I think I want something going on up here. So maybe just my flower stickers, and I would have them just here, or some leaves or something like that, these sorts of ones. So, lost it. Pull up these sleeves. What have we got in these? I've got so many cutouts and bits and pieces. Let's have a look at these. Pinks are no good. The white, no, they've gone over. The whites all worked because of... I'm just playing. Let's have a look at some of these other whites. Sitting you down. See, now I could do a thing with these. Let's add some, some pretty daisies. I do love daisies. And let's have a look. That's going to sit in here like so. That daisy's all right. And some leaves. Let's give it some leaves. We'll have them coming off the page. They're fairly well like those ones, aren't they? Something like that. So I won't see those leaves once that's on. See a little bit of them. And I might put one just up there. So let's just cover this with a few stickers like that. So these ones I can pop on. They're nice and easy. I know where they're going. And we're just going to peel them off. So I've got them so that they're facing me. The picture. I'll lift that up. I'll grab my tweezers. Don't want too many fingerprints on them. And which way do I have those? I'm going to go the other way, I think. Right up there. I'll go back over with my bone scorer later and really pop those in. That one is going to go in there. They're just such a quick way to embellish a page. And look, these days, these sorts of stickers are a dime a dozen. You can find them almost anywhere, and they're so cheap. About there. If I've got it over the page, I can trim that off later on. That doesn't look like it's over anyway. Now, and I know a lot of people don't like these sorts of stickers because they glisten, but especially with this already down here, and I'm going to put a little bit in there anyway. So we'll go with that one. How quick and easy is this page? My word. And I've just used a couple of scraps that I had around, but then I've used my stickers. So got rid of more of my scrap from that small paper pad. Just dropping that down a little bit. There we go. And it all still blends in with this one. So that one can come off, and I think I want a really small leaf for, oh, these ones come off nice and easy. Some come off so much easier. Some take a little bit of concentration, I suppose would be the best word for it. Right. There's that. There's that. I can stick this one down. And this time when I stick it down, let me move that over. I'm actually going to go, whereas last time I went dead smack in the centre, this time I'm going to go right to the edge. I'm actually going to use a narrower one. And I've got a narrower one here. There you go. I could use glue on this, but I want to be able to pop that matchbook in straight away. And it's not going to adhere and get stuck on the double-sided tape, so that's fine because it's a lot smaller. And I don't want to shove it all the way down. And if I use glue, I have to wait for that to really dry properly before I put something quite thick into a pocket. So let's have a look. And really, let's face it, sometimes you just want to use double-sided tape. Well, I do. Alright, I just need to run across that and get rid of that edge. Not that anyone's looking at it from underneath, but, you know, makes me feel better. Peel those ones off. Going down here, like so. Now, so you can see I've still got my finger under there so that it leaves it sitting out a little bit. And I can do that better with double-sided tape than I can with glue, because the glue will, especially with this thick stuff, will want it to squish back down. So that when we pop this one in now, it'll go in nice and easy. I'm not struggling with that page. It's not out enough that it's going to bulk out the book anymore. It's, I don't know if you can even see, it's like literally a couple of mil away, but it'll allow me to do that. I'm wanting a little leaf up there. We're going to pop something on there. And I'd like more of that leaf, but I'd like it in a smaller leaf. Oh, here. I'm just going to put that up there, and then I'm going to chop off the rest. So what I'm actually going to do, so that I don't ruin that, and I can still use it on other things. I know, they're a dime a dozen. I just said all that, and now I'm sitting here fiddling around with not ruining another sticker where I can't use it again. I'll tell you. Then I've got that one to use on something else. Yeah, I know. I know. Chop off the rest of that and go in and around. Nothing wrong with me, I tell you. But then my sticker lives to fight another day, doesn't it? Like that. Okay, and we know that goes right up into the corner, like so. So I've just got a little bit of greenery sitting right up there. We'll move those ones back away. Like that. Sit you over there. Now, what are we going to pop on there? Let's have a look at our bits and bobs in here. And maybe some wording. Now, I pulled those ones out, didn't I? I've got these. A lot of these are Witchcraft Do You Do, Tracy Fox, there's some Tim Holtz. There's all sorts of brands in here, so I can't give you exactly because I can't remember which ones are which. But I don't want anything too big. So I'm just playing at the moment. Let's just go with that. And let's just, I know, we'll stamp a number on there. Because that's what I do. You should be, no you're not. Quickly get rid of that. Turn him round. That's going to go up there. That's going to go in there. So I'm doing this while it's on here so that I can make sure it's above that pocket. I want some little numbers. Numbers. Tim Holtz, Witchcraft Do You Do, and Close to My Heart. So I've got some little ones like these, but I've got these. So I've got my Witchcraft Do You Do ones in here. All my clear ones are Witchcraft Do You Do. The rubber ones are Tim Holtz. But these tiny, tiny little ones are the serial numbers for the stamps on Close to My Heart, when Close to My Heart was going. So some of these look like dates. Some of, look, 87, 19, hang on, 1660. So we might put that one on there. I'll grab a little one of those, just a little block, like so. And I can put in item number in that. Just make sure that's nice and flat. And it'll sit up in there. So I'll get a darker brown so that you can really see it. So I'll go Fallen Leaves in VersaFine. So it's almost a blacky brown, this one. And that'll stamp just there, like that. That can be adhered on. Go back to the glue stick. Right there. Get rid of that edge. All right. Going the right way. Just like that. That's right. It is from where I'm sitting. Is it from where you're sitting? Looking fairly good. And that one. And we're done. So I hope you're enjoying these classes for the Beginner Friendly Journal series. We are almost at the point where we're going to be decorating our cover because it's nearly finished. A couple of the other pages I've just been doing when I've got some spare moments sitting here. So like my front cover, I've just popped just a little cluster on. I've done the other side of that one. I can't remember now what I've done when you haven't been with me and what I've done when you have been with me. As I've said before, I like lots of journaling. I've got a few more tags to make. Couple more lessons, I reckon, and then we will be straight into our cover. So I hope you're really enjoying this series. I look forward to you following along with me. And until next week, happy crafting. Bye.